Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination thrive. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center presents the Sunday night. Ooh, wow, that hat was horrible. Sunday night weekend wrap-up show. It is just me tonight. I'm your host, William. Because minutes before I went live, the co-host, Mr. Willis himself, alerted me that he would not be joining me tonight, which is fine. He had an early morning. He's on the East Coast doing family stuff. So just going to be me tonight, and that should be enough. I mean, the show won't be as annoying as it is with Brad in there making creepy references and stuff like that. But hey, tonight we are going to I don't have my earphones on because I just figured out why they weren't working, and I had the cat ears ready. But since I don't have a co-host tonight, I don't need the earphones because I don't need to hear what he's saying. And as long as the microphone is working and I sound good and you guys can hear me, let me know if you can. We are going to be good. Tonight's topics are going to be celebrating what would have been the 103rd birthday of one Stan Lee, the Stanley Lieberman, the man I got a chance to meet in person back in here in Vegas 2017. We're going to go into a non-spoiler review of Absolute Wonder Woman 15, the best issue of the series. If any of you guys have been following the channel for any degree of time, you know what I think about the Absolute line to begin with, and especially the Trinity. For me to say that Absolute Wonder Woman number 15 is the best issue that they put out in nearly a year and a half that this comic's been going on, that tells you something. You guys need to go out and get it. It's just really good. And what else we got going on? That's pretty much the two primary things I wanted to talk about. I am going to go ahead and start out with AEW World's End. I did not put that in the thumbnail, but I once again, you can say whatever you want about Tony Khan. Some people may not like him. Most of the people who don't like him are generally WWE marks, and to be honest with you, they're easily ignored in my opinion. I thought that one of the matches, the Kyle Fletcher John Moxley match was one of the best I've seen this year. It wasn't quite the match of the year. Come on, load up. I wouldn't put it above the Gabe Kidd Kenny Omega match, but I would definitely put it up there. All right, before I jump into AEW, I'm going to say hi to my geeks, those of you who have made it tonight. Absolute Polka Dot Man, who knows? I got two of the three people that are in the chat right now are Aussies, and then I got the Duckman himself. All right, so I am going to go ahead and run down. This show is mainly going to be for the people who will be watching it at a decent hour. That's all. I looked over most of our views. Most of our views. That's a predator. Covering up my football. It's a predator Batman, man. Most of our views for those of you guys who are new to the show come later on after the show is over. So, all right. So I am going to jump right into what I thought about World's End. So we're going to start out. All right. All right. So the buy-in matches, Sisters of Sin defeated the high-end Mayan world. It was, that was just, I was doing something during that match. Eddie Kingston defeated Zach Gibson with James Jenks by pinfall. Any Eddie King match is pretty good. That match was okay, but it was at the beginning of the card. Mascara Dorada and with Bandito defeated the Don Callis family. I wasn't too into that match. I can see why I was on the buy-in. All right, I'm going to skip right to the opening match, which is Okada defeated Takeshita by pinfall for the to move on in the Continental Classic. I liked this match up to the point where they had Okada cheat with a screwdriver, but I understand they're preserving the big payoff match for later on, so that's fine. They couldn't have a clean win. John Moxley defeated Kyle Fletcher in one of them, maybe a match of the year candidate. Like I said, January 5th was the Gabe Kidd Kenny Omega match, and I think that is the best match of the year, but this one came very close. It was by submission. FTR defeated the Bang Bang Gang, which is a match I was disappointed in the outcome. I like both tag teams, but I didn't like the way they ended it. The Babe of the Wrath actually put on one of the best matches of the night. Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale, they were the women's world tag team champions, defeated Mercedes Moné and Athena in a very good match. I think the best match tag team wise that any of these competitors put on. Darby Allin defeated Gabe Kidd by pinfall. It was a cheap roll-up type pinfall, but I understand that because they don't want to give anybody clean wins over Gabe Kidd as they're building him up. So that was fine. Tony Storm, Roderick Strong, and Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy defeated the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, and Will Yuta, and Marina Shafir by pinfall. The hilariousness about this match was because Roderick Strong is married to Marina Shafir, and they actually put hands on each other. We're slapping each other around, which is kind of hilarious. Chris Statlander defeated Jamie Hayter by pinfall. Good match, not the best by either one of those, but a good match. John Moxley defeated Okada for the first time to win the Continental Classic. The only thing that disappointed me about this match is I thought they were going to have the Death Riders go heel right there and then. They let him give this whole face speech, which I thought was kind of lame, but the match was great. MJF defeated Samoa Joe, Swerve Strickland, and Hangman Adam Page in a outcome I did not expect. I thought I thought that either Swerve or Hangman Page was going to walk out and further that storyline, but they found a way, I guess, to further the storyline between Strickland and Hangman, which is a long-term storytelling, and get the belt on one of their young stars. I actually enjoyed this pay-per-view. It wasn't as long as the previous pay-per-views that Tony got. That's the only problem when it comes to Tony Khan sometimes, is he has a habit of making pay-per-views really long. And as somebody who has attended multiple AEW pay-per-views, it's tough. Even if you like what you're seeing, even if the matches are great, your ups and downs emotionally, it's actually even worse sometimes if you're into every match because you're just being pulled everywhere. So he cut it down a little bit short, but I enjoyed it. I have yet to be completely let down by an AEW pay-per-view as far as quality goes. I can't, say that about other companies. But when it comes to AEW and the short time that they've been around, their pay-per-views have always delivered for me. I never have a problem dropping cash for those. There have been some disappointing matches throughout some of AEW's pay-per-views, some disappointing outcomes. But for the most part, when I spend my hard-earned money on an AEW pay-per-view, I know I'm getting my money's worth. And World's End was really, really fun. And like I said, on to the next one. I may even be going to the next one because it's in LA. It's Revolution, so might be going to that one. So that there you have it. So I will not have my rest of my non-wrestling geeks suffering anymore. Okay. We cannot do it tomorrow. I am not available. I got your message, Chappie. I did not get immediately back to you yet because I have to look at my calendar. I am not available. This is, remember, like I was telling you guys, this is going to be the last week that my schedule is all wacky. After the New Year's holiday, after the holidays have been completed, everything is going to revert back to what we've been normally doing. But right now, as you can kind of see over the weekend, Taladia and Aaron had to host the Harry Potter thing for me because I just was not available. But I will get back to you when I can fit that in. We might be able, to be honest with you, we might be able to put that on Wednesday night during the New Year's Eve marathon. We are definitely going to be on the air for a very long time. Chappie, if you're watching still, are you okay with us throwing that in as one of the movies that we watch on Wednesday on our New Year's Eve AFSB? Let me know. I enjoyed World's End. It was a good pay-per-view. I only got to watch it today and loved especially the mixed match. The mixed match, Toni Storm is an entertainer. Toni Storm is one of my favorite people to watch. She's an entertainer in and out of the ring. Her mannerisms, all the stuff. She's just an entertainer. And everybody else in that match was, like I said, I'm usually not a big gimmick mixed match guy. I like straight up, I'm traditionalist. I like straight up matches. I don't like gimmicks. I don't like steel cages. I don't like Chicago street fights. But this match, because of the people that were in it, I really did enjoy the match. One of the better matches of the night. All right. What kind of wins? Yeah. Roderick Strong and Maria Shafir, they have a kid together. They're happily married, but they were playing the role, and they were kind of hinting at that innuendo, while they're playing their roles, they are husband and wife, and they were, pretty violent to each other, but they probably train like that every day. There's probably, they're probably in the ring doing that kind of stuff to each other all the time. So yeah, I had a ball with that. All right. So I wish I had my picture of Stan Lee. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. I don't know why. If I was at the store, I would have had my picture with me with Stan Lee. Either side. Oops. Stand Let's see. There's a picture of me on the internet, but I had it pulled up, but I was having so many problems today with my headset. Now I figured out what happened. But I'll pull it up later. But yeah, Stan Lee was born on this day 103 years ago. If you are collecting comics books right now, even if a lot of the things that Stan Lee created was before your time, you have been affected by Stan Lee. You have been affected by Stan Lee. There is no ifs, ands, or buts around it. You have been affected by Stanley Lieberman. And I estimated that when I was at Amazing Comic Con back in 2017, where I got a chance to meet Stan Lee, that just about half of everything that we look at in comic books was either created or co-created by Stan Lee. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a list of characters that were created by Stan Lee. All right. Ant-Man, Captain Marvel, Nick Fury, Kraven the Hunter, Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. Let's see. Hold on, I got a better one. Let me get a clearer list. Hold on. Here you go. Let me start over. All right, Abomination, Absorbing Man, Age Genghis, Agent X, Agamon, Aegon, Afreo, Liz Allen, Alpha Primitive, Amphibian, the Ancient One, Ant-Man, Ares, The Avengers, Awesome Android, Matt Dinger's Awesome Android, Baldur, Batroc the Leaper, Beast, Beetle, Behemoth, Black Bolt, Black Knight, Nathan Garrett, Black Panther with Jack Kirby, Black Widow, Blacklash, Blastar, Blizzard, The Blob, Blockbuster, Blonde Phantom, Bluebird, Boomerang, Boar, Betty Brant, Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, Burglar, Captain Barracuda, Captain Marvel, Sharon Carter, Chameleon, Circuits of Crime, Clea, Cobra, Izzy Cohen, The Collector, The Crime Master, Crimson Dynamo, Crystal, from the Inhumans, Cyclops, The Danger Room, Daredevil, Deathstalker, The Destroyer, Diablo, Doctor Doom, Dr. Faustus, Dormammu, Dragon Man, Dum Dum Dugan from Nick Fury, the Eel, Egghead, Ego the Living Planet, Electro, Enchantress, Enclave, Enforcers, Eternity, the Executioner, Fanfur, Falcon, the Fantastic Four, Fenris Wolf, Fin Fang Boom from Thor, Richard Fisk, Vanessa Fisk, The Fixer, Bill Foster, The Freak, Frightful Four, Nick Fury, Galactus, Galaxy Master, Max Gorgon, Scorpion, Gargoyle, Gladiator. Let's see. I'm skipping over some because there's just so many. The Green Goblin, Grey Gargoyle, Dr. John Gray, Jean Grey, Grizzly, Groot, Growing Man, Herbie, Agatha Harkness. You've seen her around. Hate Monger, Hawkeye, Hemdall, Hela, Hera, the Herald of Galactus. Just the concept of it. Hercules, High Evolutionary, Happy Hogan, Hogun, Hulk, Human Cannibal, Human Torch. He created the Johnny Storm version. Iceman, Immortus, Hydra, the Impossible Man, the Inhumans, Invisible Woman, Iron Man, Jackal, J. Jonah Jameson, his son John Jameson, Jarvis, the Juggernaut, Rick Jones. Let's see, Kang the Conqueror, Karnak, Carnelia, the Kingpin, Richard Fisk, Claw, the Kree, Laufey from Thor, Ned Leeds, the Living Lasers, the Lizards, Lockjaw, Loki. See, Willie Lumpkin, which is a joke character. Magneto, the Mad Thinger. Man Beast, Man Thing. Let's see some of the. I'm keeping the Maximus, Aunt May, Medusa, Melter, Mephisto, Merlin, as far as comic books goes. A Mimic, Midgard Serpent. Those of you Thor fans. Mr. Fantastic, obviously with the Fantastic Four. Mr. Fear, Mr. Hyde, Modok, Mole Man, Molecule Man. Let's see, Mordred, Mysterio, Foggy Nelson, Nightmare, Dr. Octopus, Odin, the Olympians, Harry Osborn, Overmind, Owl, Ox, Karen Page, Richard Parker, Mary Parker, Uncle Ben, Pluto, Pepper Potts, the Prowler, Psycho Man, the Punisher. I thought the Punisher was created by... This is an official list. Who created the Punisher? I know some of these he may have been because he's under his watch. Character. Who created the Punisher? I thought the Punisher was... no, that was Gary Conway. He's actually still alive. So no, that was a... So I don't consider the Punisher. I mean, it was under his watch, but yeah, okay. Hold on, let's get back to here. I have too many things on my screen. Yeah, but all right. So yeah, some of these Franklin Storm, some of these Thor, obviously. So yeah, he's got a list. Some of these are not right, but some of them are probably co-creations of he had final say some. But Scrolls, all those, you either know a Stan Lee character or you know a derivative form of a Stan Lee character. Most of you will know a Stan Lee character because the majority of the people that know of him at all know of him from the movies. his cameos. There's a lot of people who I know people who didn't know who Stan Lee was until he started popping up in cameos in the movies, and then it became a thing. But between Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, guys like Steve Ditko, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby alone, and Jack Kirby who has some creations not only in Marvel but DC. He created Darkseid. He created the Fourth World. He created the New Gods during that time that he left Marvel in the early 70s. But Stan Lee, now a lot of Stan Lee's things that he created, he co-created. Like that list I led you off on. A lot of that stuff he was not the co-creator, or he was not the sole creator of. He was the co-creator, and a lot of people gave him grief because there are people like Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko that didn't necessarily get the big credit, as much as Stan Lee. But Stan Lee, not only was he writing and helping creating these characters, he was the forefront of Marvel Comics. He was the man. He was the editor. He was the guy you shook hands with any deal. He was the forefront. He was the face. A lot of those guys were just the work that was doing things on those particular titles, but it was Stan Lee that was spearheading Marvel Comics. He was the guy. If you were talking to anything about building Marvel Comics during the 60s and 70s, you were talking to Stan Lee. You weren't talking to these other guys. So it sucks that it ended up that way, but Stan Lee was the face. I mean, even when you were watching Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, he was the voice. In fact, any of these cartoons that came on in the 80s, Stan Lee narrated them. So he was the face and the voice behind Marvel Comics, even if he did not create everything I just read off by himself. He was there, and it was his company. He's a legend for that, All right. Let's say hi to some more people. All right, let's see. So if I'm affected, do I need a shot? A shot of what? Okay, let me know if that changes, because there's definitely room for it. How you doing, Dan the Man? The type of salesmanship and showmanship that Stan Lee had is what's missing in today's comics. Though funny you say that. There is somebody who I think is one of the better promoters of the projects he's working on, and that's going to be Scott Snyder. And I hate to sound for a shill for the absolute DC, but I am. Fuck it, I'll just say it. It's made me a lot of money, and it's the best stuff that's out right now. But if in this entire 2-year journey, when it comes to the absolute universe, Scott Snyder has been first and foremost, front and center, promoting it and getting everybody excited about it like he is. And I haven't seen that kind of energy in a while. And that was what Stan Lee did. Stan Lee got out in front of his projects and promoted the shit out of his projects. He made you feel like you were along for the ride. So yeah, he was everything back in that era. Let's see. Did I see that Stan Lee tried to buy American license rights to Super Sentai? However, he was beat out by Hamsterman, who bought it. It was I believe it. I didn't know about that, but I believe it. That sounds like something he would do. It would have been a good brand to have under Marvel. Wow. I mean, that's Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. Spider-Man being the icon of Marvel, I would say so. Him and Spider-Man was him and Ditko, I think, created Spider-Man. I know it's definitely Stan Lee. It was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. So I guess you could make that argument. Yeah, Stan Lee was part of that, and I know the main guys behind, because Jerry Conway was actually at Comic-Con last year. I know Jerry Conway is credited with being the main guy, but like I said, John Romita Sr. and and Stan Lee were there, and I can't believe that Stan Lee didn't help develop that character. But yeah, some of the characters I read on that list, there are varying degrees of his association with them, but some of the ones I read to you, like Avengers, Thor, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man. If you look at the Rogues Gallery when it comes to just those handful of characters I ran off, you at one point you had like 60% to 70% of characters that were roaming through Marvel in various books or their own books coming from the handful of IPs he created. Long after he's gone, he passed away in 2018. It's been 7 years, and you are still feeling the effects. There are still brand new people, brand new to these comic book IPs that are coming into his creation. If you're going to watch Spider-Man, you're going into his creation. If you love an Avengers movie, that's a part of Captain America. All these things he had a hand in. So whether even if you only knew him by cameos, he was partially responsible for so much. And with Marvel driving the industry for as long as they've have, a lot of the inspirations that came through other comic books came from Stan Lee, even if he didn't have his name on them. Now, Jack Kirby, Jack Kirby had a lot. Obviously, the Fantastic Four, but I'll give you what Jack Kirby was credited for. But Black Panther is going to be, Black Panther, Captain America. He created with Joe Simon. But let's see, for Captain America, hold on, I'm just looking up some stuff. Let's see, because I know him and Joe Simon created the character, but I think Stan Lee may have been. Oh, let's see. All right. Yeah, because that was originally time. Wow, I wish I had my copy on that. Yeah, so that was almost entirely, that was Joe Simon and Jack Kirby, but Jack Kirby has because I know Stan Lee got when he incorporated timely comics. So yeah, so notable works: Fantastic Four, Fourth World, Thor, Captain America, Eternals. Yeah, he created the Eternals. He created the New Gods. He created Black Panther. So yeah, he was prolific for a certain time. But Jack Kirby actually died in 94, 95 too. He was only in the 70s. Jack Kirby gets credited a lot. Recommends it. Okay. Well, when it comes to Bill Finger, I think that's a different situation because DC Comics and Bill Bob Kane just pretty much took over all that and just pretty much left him out. I think when it comes to Stan Lee, it's because he was not just the creator, he was the publisher. He wasn't just a person that was helping create these characters. He was selling the characters. See, Bob Kane wasn't that for DC, in my opinion. Stan Lee was Marvel. He was the one in the meetings. He was the one setting up everything. He was the one making the acquisitions. He was the publisher. So it's naturally that the person who, is the main cog of the company, unfortunately for those other gentlemen, is going to get the most light. I don't know if that was necessarily intentional, but when you think of Apple for a while, right? When the Apple Corporation, there's a lot of hardworking people that led to the creation of the iPhone. Some really important people. Most people, when they during a certain era, when they thought of Apple, who did they think of? Steve Jobs. Even though Steve Jobs would give everybody in the world credit for helping him create these things that he'd be on his TED Talks with, he was the one making the deals. He was the one making the call. He was the front. He was the face. He was the charisma of the company. And I think it was the same thing with Stan Lee. Sure. Yeah. By the way, yeah, I think everybody should come in. By the way, guys, after the holidays, I'm going to, I have it set up here now. I figured out a way to do it. We're going to be doing some member exclusives and Patreon exclusive. We're already doing Patreon stuff, but we're going to do some, YouTube member exclusives for you. That'll only be for you guys. Scott Snyder is a terrific ambassador for the DC brand. He's definitely earned his position. Yeah, I trust him with the brand. I trust him. He interacts with his fans. I love what he's doing. Yep. Dark. He created when he left Marvel. He basically took over, what he was doing with the Eternals. Because if you notice, there's a lot of similarities between those characters. But yeah, he created the Fourth World. He created Darkseid when he was doing. Believe it or not, Darkseid was first appearance was like thinking Jimmy Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, number 133. So it wasn't even in it wasn't like the biggest deal that it would become. But Darkseid is a massive enemy now. Look at what we're going through with Absolute DC. It's literally his universe. So for all of you guys that are getting on to Absolute DC, you have Jack Kirby to thank for the character that he created this universe. Yeah, Steve Jobs, and it's just and it happens because Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, those guys weren't sitting in the pitch meetings. They were drawing and they were writing. I personally, I can't read the man's mind, but I think he would be blown away. Can you imagine drawing these things and only seeing them on paper for most of your life, and then watching some of the cheesy TV shows that were out during his era, and then seeing them come to life like this? I think he would be blown away. That's just personal. But yeah, the late great one, 103 years old. I am so happy that I took the time out to meet him at the amazing Comic-Con here in 2017. It was my sole purpose. It was my sole purpose for going to that convention. That was my sole purpose. There were other people there, of course, but they were not the stature in legendary status that Stan Lee was, or is to this day. Even though he's not alive, he's not here with us. His work is with us. His work is literally, you don't have the things that we have without him. You just don't, and that, to me, that there's no dispute there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can argue to the point, and it's a legitimate argument, that other people did not get necessarily their due as far as what they were a part of in that process. But there is no argument when it comes to the importance of Stan Lee to this day. So, all right, guys. Oops, I hate when it does that. I wonder why it does that. It was sad. I tried not to bring that up with the whole. Well, in the picture that the day that I met Stan Lee, and I met Stan Lee in like the late June or late July, something like that. It was when the convention. His wife passed. I have the picture up at the store. Stan Lee's wife passed. Hold on, let me see if I can bring it up. His wife passed 7 days after we passed this picture. Let's look at here. I had it up here. Hold on. Wow, I take a lot of pictures. Screenshots. Bring it up. Wow, a lot of screenshots here. See if I can find this. Oh, I'm gonna have to go through my my urine pictures and with you guys because we got a lot of pictures going all the way back to Comic-Con, which I want to review because I'm trying to find it. Even though this year's Comic-Con wasn't 2024, still a little bit of fun. I'm trying to find my Stan Lee picture. Can't find it. Found my William Shatner one. But yeah, I met when I was gonna bring up Stan Lee's. We were going to discuss Stan Lee. I met to be doing this one from the store, which is where I could have just pulled the picture down. But hold on, here we go. Oh, there's a lot. Ooh, my Ric Flair. Can't find it. I'm just looking. Hold on. Wow, I almost forgot about that. I think I might have cleared it out when I cleared the phone, but I think you guys, if you guys have been on the channel a lot, you've seen the one I'm talking about. It's just, and the way that picture came about is because of I was doing volunteer work for the Amazing Comic Con, and they needed people. They needed big people to let's see if I can find it to help safeguard people and make sure that oh wow, hey, I just got a notification that I was live. We've been on the air for 41 minutes. Let me see if I can find this. Search. Yeah, it was let's see if I can find this. Hold on, I'll look in here. Hold on, I look at my Facebook ones. So, yeah, and they needed people to to be big people, because when you have a guy that old and you don't want people accidentally bumping into him, because he was very fragile. He was 94 years old at the time, and so hold on, let me see if I can find this real quick. I'll be able to find this. Probably will not. Search 2017. There we go. Let's see if I can find it now. Here it is. Bring this up for you guys. Sorry that took so long. There we go. There it is. That's actually the portrait that I got from the thing, because they printed out the portrait from. So I was volunteering. As you can see, I'm wearing an amazing. I had bought tickets for it. I bought tickets, and I was there. And as we got closer, the Amazing Comic Con people put out a thing, hey, we still need volunteers. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and volunteer, because I want to see this thing grow. I gave my tickets away to a customer, and then I showed up. I showed up. I already had another shirt on. This is the pre-Lightning shirt, the pre-Shazam shirt day. So I just threw that one over, got a badge, and then they ended up putting me. Adam West was supposed to be there, but he had passed away 3 weeks earlier. Burt Orr was there. The 2 living Catwomen were there. Ray Park. I got pictures that I'll show you guys. Ray Park was there. All kinds of people were there. This is one of the biggest ones. Tom McFarlane was there, but I showed up to this convention because I was going to. I wanted to be here to meet him, because like I said, if he's comic book royalty. 7 days after this picture, his wife of 67 years passed away. 7 days, exactly 7 days after this picture, and then he was gone not too long before or so. How you doing, Mr. Charlie? Didn't Stanley cameo on Infinity War and Endgame? I remember he was a hippie protesting thing. I think so. I have to look up. There's like a page that covers all of his cameos. My favorite one is not even a live action one. My favorite one, Stanley cameo. I think he had already passed on, but he had done the cameo already. It was for Into the Spider-Verse. The cameo when Stanley's when Miles Morales is buying the mask from the comic book store guy, and it's Stanley. That was my favorite one. Yeah, dude, it's one of my. I have it when you come into the Sci-Fi Center and you come in through the door. The very first thing you see, and when I'm giving you guys a tour of the store, I have a little thing of pictures in Ric Flair. It's me and Ric Flair standing with my big gold belt. It's Sting standing with me with that exact same gold belt. They both signed it. And then there's one with me standing next to William Shatner. And then there's me standing next to Stan Lee. And it's the first thing people look, they go up and they look at that. And they're like, oh, you met Stan Lee? I'm like, yeah. And I never get tired of saying, yep, I met him. Never get tired of saying that. Because that was a special moment. Yeah, this was 2017. I did not start doing the Shazam shirt. By the way, I'm not wearing it today because I just have a different logo on it. I didn't start wearing that until we promoted the original Shazam movie, and I think it was April of 2019. And from that point on, I predominantly wear that shirt. Maybe. I don't know. Have they been doing the cameos with Stan Lee in the movies since then? I can't remember. I don't think they've been doing them since he passed away. I'm not sure. Yeah, he is in Mallrats. He's definitely in Mallrats. All right, guys. So now we're going to move on to absolute Wonder Woman number 15, the best issue of the run. If I can find it. Shit, come on. Where's that? AW. Hold on for a second. Let me get rid of some of these. Some of these I don't need up now. Discuss Jack Lee. Discuss that. Bam, we're done with that. We're done with that. We're done with that. I'll keep Twitter up. And let's see if that makes it easier to do this. Yeah, absolute Wonder Woman was an absolute. It was a great story. It is the first meeting of this universe's Batman and Wonder Woman. It was special for me because the circumstances of which these two characters have come through the absolute universe are drastically different than the ones that they come into our normal universe. But their core beings of these people are still the same. Wonder Woman is still the heroic heroine that she is, and so is Batman. But there are differences, and a lot of the recent experiences, around what has created this absolute Bruce Wayne, makes him a little bit cautious about Wonder Woman. A lot of the ways she was brought up gives her a sense of wonder. Seeing Gotham, there's a scene in here where she sees Snow for the first time, because remember, she grew up in hell. This person grew up in hell. I love the interaction between these two. I really did. I love the first encounter between these two. The story basically revolves around some ritual killings that involves some folklore that goes along with absolute Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman in general. Some characters that you're going to recognize if you're a Wonder Woman fan. It's kind of some voodoo-ish magic, control magic type of situation. Wonder Woman falls under the control of a spell of these people that are sacrificing people, and it's all at the behest of absolute Joker. And I forgot the other chick's name, but it's absolute Joker trying to gain control of Wonder Woman. But I'll let you guys read it. There's some excellent videos that you can watch if you want to have it broken down by the molecule. But what I'm trying to get people here is to convey my feelings about these issues. These issues are great. Absolute Batman, the way he approaches her. Do you see the bat signal for the first time here? And because she conjures it up with magic instead of just a light, that's probably going to be something we see going forward. But they get to learn. They feel each other out. And you can see the difference of philosophies. What drives them both. There's a little comment there to where he says, you know what, you shouldn't be on TV, and the people around you shouldn't be on TV much. Because what's happened to him is because the people around him have all been destroyed, like by Bane. Whereas she is like, no, I can't hide in the shadows. Everything I do, I do for love and love of the people, and I can't do that in hiding. And he says, I guess we're, on a different path then. But and he says something cool. My father would be a fan of yours. So he's, they're giving a little bit of a backstory. But for the first encounter of these two, we're 15 months in, 16 months in, actually almost 17 months in if you consider everything, and we're just now getting the first encounter. I love the ways this was handled. I can't wait to see them meet Absolute Superman and the rest of them. I don't know what they're going to be called because Justice League has already been taken over by the bad guys. But this is all being woven together because the person that she needs. Oh, another thing about this, first time since they've had Absolute Batman as a character, you start to see him do the detective work because that's what she comes to him for. She comes to him to help her find these Hecate inspired murders. And he actually is in the comic. For those of you who think, why do they call him a detective? No, he's a detective in here. He's not the sophisticated, well-equipped detective that that's in the normal universe, but the instincts are still there, and it's very entertaining to see. I can't talk up the Absolute DC line any more than I have. Right now, you can get all these things. You can get them all in. You can get them in trade paperback. I have been promoting the shit out of this, and I will eventually get my interview that I've been promised with Scott Snyder. It's the holidays and he's busy, but I am. Oh, by the way, this there was a Stranger. Let me show you guys this before. There was a Stranger Things event in Vegas that I could have gone to. That's to let you guys know just how jammed up my schedule is. By the way, I missed this. You had like a secret location. You had the RSVP, but I just had too many things happening today, and over the holidays, so I had the adults. They had like drone shows and everything else. So being so slow. Yeah, they have the upside down opening there. It's kind of cool. All right, but what I wanted to show you guys is this profile. Oh, Ned Vecna coming in there. So there's the cover. There's the cover of Absolute. There's the alternate cover, which is beautiful. Yeah, but here we go. These are all. I'm missing one because just before I took this video, I sold out of Absolute Green Lantern, and I put Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow in the spot, which eventually sold out. There they are. So right now, you guys can, if you want to, some people are upcharging for some of the back issues, but you can get these the trade paperbacks. I have them on discount for $15 a shot if you're in the Vegas area, but you don't have to come to me. You can go anywhere. Any comic store is going to have these. So there you go. All right. Do the mainline all end DC Comics ever represent Absolute Universe at all? Yes, they do. And do you see them crossing over? Oh, yes. Absolute DCKO, number 4. The Trinity enters into our mainline universe to fight in the tournament. We're going to cover the hell out of that. All right, guys. I think that's where I'm going to wrap it up because I am kind of tired. My body schedule is all whacked up, and I don't want to do too much talking because I don't have a co-host, and that usually helps carry the burden of a show of me talking all the time. But I covered everything I wanted to cover. I don't think we're going to be on the air tomorrow. I think I'm going to take Tuesday off, possibly. Because we're going to be on the air for about 14 to possibly 16 hours on New Year's Eve. Trying to get, and I'll set that stream up together. So we know we're watching Godzilla -1. We know we're watching Watchmen, and we know we're going to be watching the Stranger Things finale. So we got a couple more spots left. If you guys want to see something in particular, You can also donate to the stream to get your movie on there. If you make a suggestion, I'll send you the link, and if you're serious about it, you can make a donation to AFSP. We're about $2,500 short of our goal of $20,000 total raised. So, all right, guys. Yeah, this year has gone unbelievably fast too. Thank goodness, because it's been a shitty year. All right, please like, subscribe, share the gospel, ring the alert bell, and I will see you possibly sooner, but definitely on the last day of the year. Have a nice night, guys.